So what's up, channel goers? Today Project Kratos gets a little bit of an update or a little bit of a change in the form of WTB Vulpine S light fast rolling tires in 40C. So what I wanted to do was, probably part of it was vanity. You know, I've had tan wall tires on this bike from conception. So Gravel King SK Plus and the Pirellis that were in the feature video. But I did want something that was a little bit faster rolling, since, you know, although it's my gravel bike, I do ride it a lot on pavement. Another plus in this is the max tire on the pressure is 50 PSI, and my Hunt Gravel Race wheels have a 54 PSI max pressure. So it's going to force me to drop those pressures a little bit and run it at something, you know, more suitable for gravel. So in my case, I'll probably end up running it somewhere right at 40 PSI, down to about 35 PSI on gravel. So here's a quick look at the box. TCS fast rolling, light wheels, light tires. Usage is for gravel conditions, pavement, hard packed dirt, gravel. Do not see mud, but hey, I think I'll be okay. Optimized rim width, 19 to 24, and my rims sit right in the middle at 22. So dual compound DNA, SG protection, which is sidewall only. If I flip this over, you can pause and get more information. But again, this is basically the same information. These will go on my recycle bin. I love to see recyclables. So here's a kind of a step-by-step or warning on how to assemble or put these on. I decided to not do an installation video because I'm assuming that if you're either going to be able to do this or take it to a bike shop. So, you know, throw it in the comments if you want, but I decided not to do an instructional video. So quick comparison. And one reason I'm not as concerned about my gravel rides is I've done Gravel King SK Plus in 38 on single track. So tread for tread, I'm not too worried about the tread pattern, but I am going to be interested in seeing what will happen with that slick center channel and those little bit more shallow knobs compared to this block pattern on the SK Plus. Now, something that I'm not using anymore is the original Gravel Kings with foul tread. And I have, you know, taken these out on the road, excuse the camera movement, taking them out on the roadway, and I was able to keep up with guys on their road bikes. So I think that these aesthetically, it's going to be a toss-up. Some people love tan wall tires, but I think the all black tire actually blends a little bit better and kind of goes a little bit better with the paint flop. Not going to be able to pick it up completely on the phone, but you can see that, you know, a lot of times people will see that dark gray to purple flop, and then as light hits it, you'll get into those burgundies, but that's neither here or there. And I'm going to keep my red bits. Finally let go of my 8-year-old PD 520s and got a new set. Saw no reason to upgrade. I do have a 4i power meter coming. Was able to pick one up for a pretty good deal. So that will replace the crank-based system. Will replace my Velopod system, which one take. Velopod, which was the Velopod, a cadence sensor, which is on the back of the crank, and a speed sensor. So I'll lose those three things to go to crankbase for power and cadence. And lastly, if I do decide, I may change out the seat post, but that's probably not going to happen. So I think we're kind of coming to the end of the project. I think I'm just now going to put miles on it, see what happens over the course of rides. Did make another small adjustment because I was about to post these up for sale, but I did move my levers in just a little bit, which gives me a top to top of 36.5 centimeters. And when I go over and measure the Miata and my TCR and even the Mazzy, my cockpit is about 36.5 on all of those bikes, top to top. So I think that's going to make me a little bit more comfortable and help me keep the bars, because I was going to go back to the carbon Eastons and sell these, even though I've only got a couple of miles on them, as in maybe 50. Corrections on my last video. This is Tasis fat wrap. I just could not get that out. And with the fork was exchanged for a fork with through axles, and also the through axle rear kit made by Poseidon for this bike. So a new carbon fork, which it came with a carbon fork with quick release, and they did send their own skewers. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Everything else was pretty much correct on the video. On my wheels, I think I said something wrong about those as well, but they are 22 internal, 25 depth. These are shallow, and there is a carbon version that is about 100 grams lighter and somewhere between 3 and 5 mils wider. So they're 25 rim depth, and I think the internal, it's either 25 or 27. I think it's going to be in the little snippet that I'm going to add because I had just read it. So I am going to kind of go over the Silca that was in the rims when I broke them down, the wheels and tires, and I'm going to stick that on the end of this video. So this is my broken down set of tires, and this is simply Silca step 1, and this tire is stands that I use for refresh. I didn't do step 2 because I had kind of come to the conclusion at that point that I wasn't going to continue using the product. But what I found was this layer, or a layer of what I'm going to call Silca skin. And this is like the best example of it. But from what I can tell is it goes, or it lines the tire with a layer of latex, sealant, whatever you want to call it, rubber. For me, it's Silca skin, but that layer is around the entire inner circumference of the tire. And my assumption, and it's purely my assumption, is that when the tire is punctured, this pushes through to the outside, and what the liquid portion, which would be, we're just going to say the Silca liquid will push through that puncture via this layer of latex, rubber, skin, whatever you want to call it, and along with the carbon fibers will seal the puncture. So one more time, you can see that this was around the spots of the bead that probably took the most to seal, and that glistening is just the Silca itself. My refresh was a 30cc bottle of stands. So I did not do step 2. And once I started analyzing the cost, my number of punctures, which is very low, on my tubeless tires, almost none. I think I've had maybe 3 over the last 5 years, and 2 of those were slashes from objects that I didn't see riding at night. So my value analysis is I'm going to stick with just a regular liquid sealant, i.e. stands, or I may try muck off. I may try orange seal. I may even try WTB, but for now, I'm just going to stick to stands, and let's finish up the video.